It's hard, I think. And I think a lot of the time that one of the powerful things of having this podcast or any type of regular wisdom, drip into our bloodstream, is it doesn't allow us to try to cross this river with our feet in two different canoes. It's either eventually the drip into the bloodstream is saying, you know what? You're going to have to choose. And it gets louder and louder and louder to the degree that we're letting this type of information into our consciousness. Right. It's like, you just got to choose. You're right. And the choose may not be a robe or a haircut or a name, but it's definitively a choice towards truth, light, love, God, as opposed to some type of material ambition that in your heart of hearts will not give you what you need.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Or some kind of egoistic attachment. I can't be spoken about that way. I can't be seen that way. I can't. You know what? I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show. It's Monday. No, it's Tuesday.
Sorry.
It's Tuesday, March 19th, 2020.
No, it is March 18th.
If we can get this, both of you working together. Pull this off.
Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, and it's episode 1557. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. Kaustubha's counting down his days in India. He's been there a long time.
Yep.
And it's a long. India's long, right? Kaustubha, you go there for a week, you feel like you've been there for a while.
I know.
I don't know what it is. It just takes a lot out of you.
It does. It's true.
Yeah. That's why whenever I hear people like, yeah, I want to go on pilgrimage with you, but, I'm going to stay longer. I was like, you just go for 2 weeks and see how you do. See how you do in 2 weeks.
In this trip for me, I went one path and then I turned around and went back the same way, So I was in Rishikesh and Dev Prayag. Then I went to Vrindavan and Govardhan. Then I went to Mayapur, then Eco Village, and then back to Mayapur, back to Govardhan and Vrindavan, and back to Rishikesh. So now when I'm here, it really feels like, oh, I was here a year ago, although it was only 5 months ago. But it's kind of revisiting these places again, but I'm somehow a bit of a different person too,
Yeah, you've been a different...
My life is in a little bit of a different place, and,
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. What else is up? Miss Mara?
Good morning. Have you checked out our Sage community platform? If Wisdom of the Sages has been helpful in your life and you'd like to contribute to our work, please log on to wisdomofthesages.com and become a supporting member of the Sage community platform. For a minimum $5 monthly contribution or a maximum donation of whatever your heart desires, you get access to a wide range of live and archived classes, community chat, merchandise, retreat registrations, and much, much more. wisdomofthesages.com to join today.
Thanks.
I can tell Mara's feeling better now. I guess she's got the perkiness with which she said, have you checked out the Sage community platform? I said, okay, she's
a little perkier, slightly perkier. If you're part of our Sangha, please contribute. It really helps us keep this thing going. Thanks, and a big thank you to everybody that does. Hey, are you doing some class? I saw on your thing. Want to announce your class you're doing?
Oh, I'll do some class in Brooklyn, but if anybody wants to see about that, it's on my Instagram.
Okay,
but
you're doing it live.
Actually, I need to check in on that. It might be promoted like online.
I think it's promoted online.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, man.
And I got my
world wants to know.
I have my Harvard Divinity. The faculty has called upon me Raghunath?
Oh, I talked to the faculty yesterday.
Did you
I
talk to the
talked to the
faculty?
faculty
You just
yesterday.
canceled.
They wondered how you got on. I said, well, I put in some good words for them. I put on some good words for Kaustubha, so they should be
But
expecting
perhaps
now.
I've been a bit overstepped. By
Well,
bringing
I
him on.
shooed you in the door, Mr. K. I shooed you in. Now they all want to hear from you. I
How
gave
was
you
your
a very
Harvard
good
experience?
recommendation. Huh?
How was your Harvard experience?
Oh, it was wonderful. I had a great experience.
Good.
They wholeheartedly, they gave me the key to Harvard. They said, come whenever you
Did they
like.
give you
You're
a
more than
what do
welcome.
they call that? They give you
A
an
varsity. They give me a varsity jacket.
Honorary degree, perhaps.
honorary degree.
Yeah, they just said it's like you know everything. You were already. What can we do? So they wanted to give me a PhD, and I said, "Listen, I don't need that. I don't need that. It's
I don't
not
need
about
that. I'm
3
not into
letters at
these
the end of my name.
labels.
Just labels.
I'm
Just
not into
labels.
these,
If you
yeah.
if you appreciate me speaking, I'll speak to you. I'll give you advice. I
not
can
part
help
of-
you. If you need my
I'm not
help, I
part
can
of the
help you,
system.
people.
I'm not part of the system.
You just come to me."
Okay.
My mom
Good,
still didn't
good.
get it. I was like, "Mom, I spoke at Harvard yesterday." What? It's like, God Almighty.
But it went well.
It was really good. It was really good, and a bunch of people from Wisdom of Sages showed up, and then it was it was a big fun group.
Awesome, Raghunath.
Great.
There you
Did
go.
a little
At least you got to get a
Q&A at the
mug.
end.
Like, Merrick, get him a Harvard mug now, okay?
Will do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
People still showing up here, you know. Alexia showed up yesterday.
Oh, our old friend Alexia from
Yeah.
Vienna. That's great.
Yeah.
Did
And
she come alone
Amanda
or with a
Harding's-
group?
She came alone. She just wanted to break out of the Goa scene, and she felt she needed something, you know, deeper, more spiritual, whatever. So she came here.
What about
And,
Dharma Shakti? Have you seen Dharma Shakti?
I did see Dharma. She's come and gone.
Okay.
So her and her whole group. That was great. Now
Nice.
Amanda Harding is also showing up today with the group.
All righty. All
Yeah.
righty.
All these people coming in.
Let the magic continue to
People
flow.
coming, people going.
That's the Prema
I'm about
Yoga
to go.
Brooklyn. Prema Yoga Brooklyn. Are you going to see them today?
I'll see them tonight, and I'll be doing a program for Prema Yoga as soon as I get back too.
Yeah.
I got to look at all that. I'll put that on my thing.
Look at you. Look at you. Just hustling out there in New York City. Doing the New York yoga hustle.
Yeah, I've been doing that forever. I always do that for a few different yoga studios.
Alrighty, sir.
All right.
You want to get on with our nugget?
Big news. Well, we got a nugget, and then we go into a new chapter today, Raghu.
Quite exciting, huh?
It is exciting. And you know what I realized today is it's not going to, we're already 5 chapters into the 9th canto. It's not going to be long into the 10th canto.
10th canto. It's all going to be nectarian.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, you got the nugget?
Yep. This is a good one. It's from Unknown.
Okay.
Whenever it's
That means
unknown,
you
I
could
was like,
claim it.
if it's unknown, I'm just going to take credit for it. This is something I
Alright,
said a
just-
while back,
Uh-huh.
and you can Google it if you want. It might come up unknown, but I think I said this first. Here's what it says. The new life, your new life is going to cost you your old one. Your new life
Oh,
is going to cost you your old
your
one.
old one.
And you can take that a few ways.
Okay.
There's
Would
going to
you
be a
like share
cost.
it?
There's going to be a cost for your rebirth. And the cost is you're going to have to trade in that old identity, those old behaviors, that old thought processes, those old habits. If you want that new life, you want
Right.
to step into that new life, it's time to relinquish the old one. Just like you're changing a suit of clothing. Change
Like a
out
butterfly.
of your pajamas and put on a new beautiful set of clothing today.
Do you need to go into a cocoon?
Sometimes you got to go into cocoon. I think spiritual life, meditation, chanting the holy name, going on pilgrimage sometimes can be that cocoon. And then you go about it. You know what? That's over. Over for me. Not again. It's over. Sometimes we
Right.
have to make those strong decisions where we just
Greg?
cut, like an incision, just cut. And
yeah.
that's okay. There's a new set of clothes, there's a new self to step into, a new right? It's like shedding skin
A new
almost,
role. Yeah, a new role to play in life.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
I've been doing these Q&As every night. So you get all kind of sincere people asking all kind of questions. And these are people that have come to Rishikesh, to come to India, come to the foothills of the Himalayas to, for a lot of people, it can feel like a crossroads, I suppose, and I do find myself practically every night kind of taking up a role of like, sometimes telling people you got to be strong, like you got to be strong,
yeah.
and sometimes telling people, okay, the kind of this message is just like you're sharing is, if you want a new life, which I think intelligent, thoughtful, people do, they want to make the most of this life, and most of us were brought up in certain patterns. It's going to take some courage to break out of them, and for you and I, like we were young men when we got into it, and we did kind of do like a radical shift, like really step out of your world and step into an entirely new one, change your clothes, change your name, change your country, change, just like, it was
Change
like
your
kind of a,
diet, change your diet,
yeah,
change
yeah. And so it was giving up an old life for a new one. Um, and and that being said, I don't think it can be that, but it doesn't have to be that. But as you were saying, there's going to be something radical that I have to do. I got to be prepared. It may be internal, it may be both external and internal. But if it's not, it may not be, you know, uh, leaving my world behind and stepping into a whole new one. But it may be leaving my habits behind, leaving my attitudes behind,
right.
leaving my rationalization and justifications behind, um, and stepping into a new world where I'm a person with a deeper level of tolerance, a deeper level of humility, a deeper level of forgiveness, who wants to stay fixed in truth, you know, really go into to that next stage. We're seeing it in Ambarish, we're reading these texts, and these different figures are showing us examples. He gets cursed by this. You know what he's going to do? We may get to it today. But Ambarish, Durvasa Muni is going to come back and he's going to apologize. What was I thinking? I shouldn't have done what I did. Please forgive me. And Ambarish is not only going to forgive him, he prays to the Sudarshan chakra, please give him relief.
Mm.
And then not only that, which would have been like, oh, wow, he's praying for the person that was just trying to wipe him out. Look at that. That's really tremendous. But he goes even further and he says, if I've accrued any merit, any pious or spiritual merit through my service to you, he's praying to the Sudarshan chakra, to Vishnu's weapon, then I give that all for him. I'm willing to offer everything I've accrued. All of the good stock of whether it's good karma or spiritual merit, I will I will give that all up if that's what it takes to relieve him. That's that for most of us, that's a new life.
Yeah.
He's showing us that kind of radical spirituality, and if we want that, if we want a new life, we have to start thinking more like these characters, and we have to figure out a way to, Krishna will give us ways to apply it, and
Mm.
then when we face it, we've got to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to do something radical.
Mm.
Shave my head, put on robes, disappear to another country, leave the world behind. No, maybe it's just really let go, really forgive, really pray for my enemy, really mean it. You know.
Sometimes it's a giving up of material hope, like hope that
Oh yeah,
something of this material realm will give me what I want. There's a lot
right.
there. Uh, there's almost like a pull sometimes going towards a material goal, and sometimes part of our spiritual quest is to realize, no, that's not going to satisfy me. And when we
Mm,
and when we get that clarity, we say, you know what? I'm overworking and toiling for this. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to give me what I want. Sometimes I have to climb to the top of that ladder to realize that. And it takes time, like energy, resources, effort to get to that top, only to realize like it didn't give me what I wanted. I made it to the top. But sometimes we can get that foresight. And sometimes Krishna gives that. Sometimes just by hearing a lecture, by a person who's been touched by the Bhagavatam, hearing a lecture or hearing a kirtan or hearing some words or reading some words in the Bhagavatam or some other sacred book where we said, you know what? I'm not going to climb. I'm not going to invest the resource, the time, the energy to get to that top of the ladder. I'm going to have the foresight to see that's not going to give me what I need. And then I'm just going to pivot and go towards my spiritual trajectory. And, it's hard, I think. And I think a lot of the time that one of the powerful things of having this podcast or any type of regular wisdom, drip into our bloodstream is it doesn't allow us to try to cross this river with our feet in two different canoes. It's either eventually the drip into the bloodstream is saying, you know what? You're going to have to choose. And it gets louder and louder and louder to the degree that we're letting this type of information into our consciousness. Right. It's like, you just got to choose. You're right. And the choose may not be a robe or a haircut or a name, but it's definitively a choice towards truth, light, love, God, as opposed to some type of material ambition that in your heart of hearts will not give you what you need.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Or some kind of egoistic attachment. I can't be spoken about that way. I can't be seen that way. I can't. You know what? I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raghu.
It's the cracking of the shell.
Crack it.
Ugh.
All right, man.
All right, so we're on the new chapter. It's Durvas Muni's life is spared.
Wow.
Whew.
Okay.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, I want you to offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 5, Text 1. Again, this is called Durvas Muni's life is spared.
Okay, so he was just given the advice by Vishnu. The only way that you get out from under this, I mean, it's more than a threat, right? But the only way that you get out from this incredibly dangerous situation that you're in, having the Sudarshan disc of Lord Vishnu right on your back, Vishnu himself is saying, you got to go back and talk to Durvasa, right? My devotee has my heart. If he forgives you, you're forgiven. All right, so here it goes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sukadeva Goswami said, when thus advised by Lord Vishnu, Durvas Muni, who's very much harassed by the Sudarshan chakra, immediately approached Maharaj Ambarish, being very much aggrieved. This great sage, the Muni, fell down and clasped the king's lotus feet. So it's sort of a peculiar situation right now. You don't usually see the great renunciate bowing down to this man of great wealth and great prestige and fancy clothes. It's sort of like reversed. Usually it's the we're bowing to the sadhus, the wealthy are bowing to the sadhus, like you, although you have nothing, you have so
Yes.
much, right?
I remember when we had Professor Ravi Gupta on the show,
Yeah,
Bhagavatam scholar,
yeah.
and he used a term that you just kind of referred to in a sense. He said that the Bhagavatam is full of dharmic reversals,
Hmm.
right? Normally we see the dharmic alignment is that the kings are bowing down and washing the feet of the great renunciates, right? That's the typical Vedic dharma. What Bhagavatam does is it's saying the external shell of the Vedic dharma is very nice,
Hmm.
but it's the inner essence that is most important. And here we see that actually the king, who's living a very worldly life, as you mentioned, externally, internally, he's got bhakti. Whereas the sage had mystic power, but he actually didn't have the heart of a bhakti yogi. And we see one brings good fortune and one doesn't. One brings, one brings true auspiciousness into one's life and the other didn't necessarily. And so dharmic reversal, it gets flipped.
So why is this called the Amala Purana? Because out of all the teachings of the Vedas, this is actually the highest. The renunciate is actually bowing to the king because the king has this precious little jewel. It's got nothing to do with their status, their social status, their economic status, their mystical acumen. It's got to do with bhakti. And that's why they call
Right.
bhakti the topmost yoga system, not because it's what's the
Sectarian?
word? The sectarian. Yeah, ours is the best. No, it's because pure love of God is the highest thing, and it's got nothing to do with your
With
material
any
situation.
sect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with material situation, and it's what all the yoga paths are actually moving towards. It's all gradual evolution, and you can't take a detour. You'll get some you'll get some definitively. You'll get some paranormal, super out of this world experience with all these other paths. But if you just stay at the rest area on the highway, although it's pleasant, although there's clean bathrooms, although there's a Starbucks, you'll never get to the final destination. You'll
Right.
never get to the goal. The goal is pure love of God. It's quite simple. It's actually very simple.
Maybe you could just, for people that are unfamiliar, you could just give a quick refresher on what is the Sudarshan disc? What's going on with that?
What is the Sudarshan disc? It's it's one of the two weapons of Lord Vishnu, the main weapons. He has two things he carries for benedicting the devotees. He has the conch shell he blows, and it calls all the demigods and the Devis and the Devas. And then he has the lotus. These are for the benedictions of the devotees. And then he has the weapons to protect from the devotees from the evil. And one is the club, the gada. Like we have this name Gadadhar, which means the carrier of the club. It's a name for Vishnu, or it's a name for Balaram sometimes. And then we have the chakra. Christians called Chakradhar as well. Right? He carries the chakra, and the chakra is also a flaming wheel that he whips, almost like a
Frisbee.
Like a frisbee.
Discus?
I was going to say like boomerang because the frisbees don't come back. The boomerang
yeah.
shoots back, so he throws it out and he retrieves it. And in that fiery, imagine like going to a radial saw and throwing one of those.
Yeah,
one of those.
okay.
It's got the cutting effect.
But
it's also
made of fire.
blazing. It's blazing with fire, and it returns to him, and he's actually passed it on to his great devotee Ambarish. For some reason, it's guarding like an attack dog. It's guarding Ambarish. I don't know if that was an offense to Sudarshan calling him an attack dog, but he's like a protector of Ambarish.
And now we're going to read a bit more about that Sudarshan chakra and find out that it's actually so much more. It's really amazing. Hard to even fully understand, but let us continue, Raghu.
Sukadeva Goswami said, when thus advised by Lord Vishnu Durvas Muni, who was very much harassed by the Sudarshan chakra, immediately approached Maharaj Ambarish. Being very much aggrieved, the Muni fell down and clasped the king's lotus feet. When Durvas touched his lotus feet, Maharaj Ambarish was very much ashamed. Right? That's part of the devotee. He's like humbled. You're going to touch my feet? Why?
Yeah.
And when he saw Durvas attempting to offer prayers because of mercy, he was aggrieved even more. Right? Thus, he immediately began offering prayers to the great weapon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here is the great devotee. He doesn't want people bowing to him. He doesn't want to be glorified. So immediately, what does he do? He starts glorifying, right? This is Ambarish starts glorifying the Sudarshan.
Yes.
So now Ambarish is trying to deflect the praise. And you see great devotees, they don't like praise. They're ducking praise. They're passing on praise to the source of praise, who's Lord Vishnu. And in this case, Lord Vishnu's paraphernalia. Maharaj Ambarish said, O Sudarshan Chakra, you are fire. You are the most powerful sun. You are the moon, the master of all the luminaries. You are the water, the earth, the sky. You are the air. You are the 5 sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. And you are the senses also. O most favorite of Achyuta, that's the Lord, the infallible Lord. You have thousands of spokes. Right? It's like considered like a wheel. O master of the material world, destroyer of all weapons, original vision of the personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly give shelter and be auspicious to this Brahmana, praying for protection from the Brahmana. Also, these weapons of Lord Vishnu, in one sense, are non-different than Lord Vishnu, correct, Kaustubha?
Yes, and somehow we're hearing that this this chakra is his vision, Sudarshan. And we're going to hear more about how the role that the Sudarshan disc plays in creation and so on. Prabhupada doesn't share a lot of commentary here. A lot of big stuff is being said, but it's a little difficult to understand. What text are we on?
5.
We just read 5?
No.
Or about to read 5?
We just read
Let's
4.
read 5, and then there's a commentary to that one when we look into that.
AJ Sullivan brought up the point on the message board that was our shelter logo.
Yeah, chakra, right?
The chakra. And we take shelter, Lord Vishnu. That was where the idea is. Lord Vishnu protects us. So it's an expansion of Krishna, and therefore it's also worshipped like Krishna, the paraphernalia of Krishna or Vishnu. O Sudarshan wheel, you are Dharma, religion. You are truth. You are encouraging statements. Interesting. You are sacrifice. And you are the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifice, right? That's Lord Vishnu himself. You're enjoyer of when people offer sacrifice, you are that enjoyer. You are the maintainer of the entire universe, and you are the supreme transcendental prowess in the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the original vision of the Lord, and therefore you are known as Sudarshana. Everything has been created by your activities, and therefore you are all pervading.
Purport.
Okay, the word Sudarshan means auspicious vision.
Su means auspicious.
Usually vary,
Darshan.
but sometimes shub.
Su means good, I think, you know.
Well, like susukam, right?
Yeah.
It might mean good, but like
It does. I'm not saying it doesn't mean very, but
I think that's come from like shub is auspicious, right? Shub. Shuba. Anyway, I'm no Sanskrit pundit, but
what's going on? Were you doing this at your Harvard lecture? Were you giggling like that?
You know what?
yesterday?
Sometimes the people need to be woken up a little bit with a little laughter, a little joy.
Okay. All right.
Can't all be about scholarly education. Gotta shake them.
Yes. All right.
Went into that nerd meeting and wake up, you guys. The Supreme Personality of God had glanced over the Mahatattva, or the total material energy. And when it was agitated, Everything came into existence.
Okay, so again,
Western philosophers sometimes
the idea is that Mahatattva is like a big batter, and then Krishna's glance agitates it and makes it move, right? Like just like heat will get a batter to transform into something else. So the raw ingredients of the material energy, that's the Mahatattva, and then the Sudarshan, this vision of Krishna, makes things start to take shape.
Western philosophers sometimes think that the original cause of creation was a chunk that exploded.
They keep it simple.
What a creation myth.
There's
what
a
creation
chunk.
myth. There's a chunk. Where'd the chunk come from? It's the primordial chunk.
Well, in any case, Prabhupada's going to cut them a little slack here. He's going to say, okay, if you want to say chunk,
If
then
one thinks of this chunk as the total material energy, the Mahatattva, one can understand that the chunk was agitated by the glance of the Lord. You can't just cut God out of the chunk. It's just a chunk.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah,
source
got
of the chunks?
chunks.
There just was chunks.
Yeah.
And
You know,
that's the
there's.
Lord's
I was just hearing
plans.
someone speaking about this the other day. The idea, and these are laws of physics that like. I wish I should take note next time, but like one substance or one object, it doesn't change unless moved by an external object, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so then that means that if you have if the material chunk was all that existed within the material realm, it would need something from outside to agitate it.
There
And
you
that
go.
would have to be something outside the laws of physics, outside the law of time, outside, and, you can call that what you want, but we can call that God. It needs something from outside.
I'm looking in the mirror today. I'm looking a little raspy, don't I? I'm looking like Rasputin.
Well, your beard, it's at a stage, Raghunath, where it needs a little,
Needs a little cleaning up.
a little something, yeah.
I have curly hair, so like also even my long hair is getting a little sort of like sticking up here and there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking a little raspy.
You see?
I have been
Yes.
swimming, Mr. Kaustubha.
Excellent, Raghunath.
have been
Do you think
swimming.
it may be the chlorine in it that's affecting it?
No, I don't think that's it.
Because you might need to oil up a bit more. But then again, that oil may not be appreciated in the pool. Mustache oil. There's you leave like a trail behind you as you're swimming the lap.
There's an oil slick in the pool. It's that greasy
It's
bhakta guy.
mustache oil.
It's ghee. There's like ghee.
All right, text 6.
Text 6. O Sudarshan, you have a very auspicious hub. And therefore, you are the upholder of all Dharma. Right?
Yeah,
I'm looking at
continue.
the word for Dharma. Indeed, you are just like an inauspicious comet for the adharmic, for the irreligious demons. An inauspicious comet. Comets, or is a comet the same as a shooting star?
I'm not sure, actually. Mara, could you look into that?
I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
What's your
Indeed.
guess, Mara?
I think no, but I'm not sure.
I think they're different too.
I say yes. It's exactly a shooting star.
Meteors or shooting stars are very different from comets, although the two can be
Very
related.
different, Raghunath. Very, very different. Okay.
Repeat after me. Sometimes Raghunath is wrong.
A comet is a ball of ice and dirt orbiting the sun, usually millions of miles from Earth.
Speculation.
As the ices in the nucleus are heated and vaporized by the sun, gas escapes, taking dust particles along with it.
Are you sure? Are they sure about that?
Hold it. Could you? I didn't hear all that. What's the difference between the shooting star and the comet?
A comet's a ball of ice and dirt orbiting the sun, rather. And as the
Okay.
ices in the nucleus are heated and vaporized by the sun, gas escapes, taking dust particles along with it.
That's the comet. Okay. And then shooting star?
Let's see.
You gotta get ChatGPT.
I know. Hold on.
Can't always trust that ChatGPT. Just tell you what you want to hear.
Just
I was going to it today for some verses, and I'm like, can you give me a verse that speaks to this point? Oh, yes, I'm right here. Here you go.
I
And then
like how
check it all.
ChatGPT is
Oh,
like
you made up all these
friendly.
verses. You gave them numbers. You gave them like, I was like, what are you doing to me?
You know what? I wrote in ChatGPT, give me 10 wonderful quotes by Ray Cappo. That's me, if you don't know me. And
None of
it
them are
made
true.
up these quotes of things I never said, but something I might say. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it does. That's what it does.
It does stuff like that. It's like not,
You
it's a
can't
little,
trust it.
it's a speculating android.
My someone even asked me about this in one of the Q&As the other night, and I said, I got trained up by Tamal Krishna Goswami, right? And you did too, Raghunath, right? If he asked you a question, you came back with an answer, he was going to dig into that answer and see if it's got substance or not, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and
You
you
gotta
had to
make
be
sure
like that with ChatGPT. You got to be just like that. Are you sure about that? Where did you get that from? Tell me, you know, you got to really dig
That's a
into
good
it.
point. You
And then
gotta grill
sometimes,
ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like a
yeah.
puppy just wagging his tail trying to please you. No, I want your sources.
Yeah.
A shooting star is also called a meteor, and it's a streak of light in the sky caused by a space rock burning up as it enters Earth's atmosphere at high speed.
Huh.
So we got the chunk, we got the space rock.
Got the cheese,
Space rock.
the planet. I love the idea like the moon is a big floating thing of cheese. Who came up with that one, and how did people buy into it?
Did they buy
I don't think people bought into it.
I think they
Raghunath.
did.
I think it was just.
Look that up. Cheese.
Well, maybe
Who came up with
maybe
that
people
theory?
like you, like a couple hundred years ago.
I wonder what kind of cheese it was. Mozzarella. It's like so
Okay.
bouncy.
It is made out of cheese.
Okay. Or is it like aged cheese? Okay. Oh,
Like a little
Sudarshan, you
Swiss
have
cheese. It's got those craters.
Okay, maybe Swiss. That makes sense. I could believe that.
Its original formulation
I could buy
as a proverb and metaphor for credulity with roots in fable. This refers to the perception of a simpleton who sees a reflection of the moon in water and mistakes it for a round cheese wheel.
Oh. So they never believed it was actually cheese.
Doesn't seem like
Nobody
it.
believed it, Raghunath.
Okay.
There was never an actual historical popular belief that the moon is made of cheese.
Okay, that's good. Now
Is that
According to
ChatGPT?
I have a
Wikipedia.
little bit more respect for them now.
All right. Well, you were buying into it a second
Now.
ago.
Now back to our ocean of liquor.
I read something about the ocean of liquor the other day. Did you see that?
No.
It said that there's some scientific discovery that there's actually, you know, chemically, there's like a big, massive, gaseous, whatever, kind of like, maybe not gaseous, but like floating
Fermented.
alcohol in space.
Oh, really? There you go.
Search
The
for that
ocean of
one. Is there alcohol in space? A nebula of alcohol, Achuta says. I don't know what a nebula is. We're really getting lost now.
Nebula.
We don't know what a
is
comet
from
is.
the word nebulous. Okay.
Yeah.
Mara's like, I'm
thank
not
you for
looking. I'm
clearing that up.
knitting. I'm knitting now.
Oh, okay.
Those are
But,
both
no,
swirling
you had to look that up.
We're like the dueling
Is there
squirrels
alcohol
right
in
now.
space?
Is there alcohol in
But
space?
just check
Okay,
that
look
one.
that up. But I'm going to read because it's getting too
Okay.
squirrelific.
Dude,
Oh,
where's your
Sudarshan, you are a
squirrel?
very auspicious hub. I'm going to read this again. Oh,
You read
Sudarshan.
that?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
There is a
it?
giant cloud of alcohol in outer space.
There you go.
The first thing that comes up. It's in a region known
Ocean
as
of liquor out there.
W3, only about 6,500 light years away. Unfortunately, it is methyl alcohol, commonly known as wood alcohol, though it's not derived from wood, so it's not suitable for drinking.
What, you thought
Okay,
that
well.
they thought we were looking that up in case we wanted to get drunk in outer
Well, we did
space?
hear from,
Oh, it's not.
from
Oh,
Bhagavatam.
forget it. I'm not going to build that spaceship then.
He's like, who needs
Let's
a
all
brewery?
party. Let's all party in SpaceX and go to the land of W3 for the wood alcohol. Okay.
Okay,
Sudarshan,
Tech 6.
you have a very auspicious hub, and therefore you are the upholder of all religion. You are just like inauspicious comet for the irreligious demons. All right, that's where we got hijacked. Indeed, you are the maintainer of the three worlds. You are full of transcendental effulgence. You are as quick as the mind, and you are able to work wonders. I can simply utter the words, Namaha, offering all obeisances unto you. O master of speech.
So it just seems like Ambarīṣa's understanding of the Sudarshan chakra is deep. He understands that it's non-different from Vishnu, or that it possesses so much of the power of Vishnu. It's a little hard, for me to fully understand, but it's not just a weapon. It's something far more significant. Okay.
O master of speech, by your effulgence, full of religious principles, the dark of the world is dissipated, and the knowledge of the learned persons or great souls is manifested. Indeed, no one can surpass your effulgence. For all things, manifested and unmanifested, gross and subtle, superior and inferior, are but various forms of you that are manifested by your effulgence. O indefatigable, that's a great word. O indefatigable one, when you are sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to enter amongst the soldiers of the Daityas and the Danavas, those are the demons, right?
Yeah.
You stay on the
read about
battlefield.
this recently, right?
What's that?
We read about that in Mahabharata, where, there's the battle going on between the Devas and the Asuras, and the Devas are winning, but then the Asuras, this is on the shore of the Ocean of Milk, and
Right.
the Asuras, they begin to use their kind of like black magic, or, they kind of like their illusory kind of powers,
Right.
which is really unfair. And so it's getting
All is
darker and
fair
darker.
in love and war, Kaustubha.
Well, not for the Chachis, though, right? They have ethical codes in war.
Yeah, tell it to Gutakach.
Well,
Huh?
I think he only uses that once it's been used against him, right?
I don't know.
In any case,
Hun-
in any case. So then, at that point, Indra, who doesn't want to call on Vishnu, says, "We need to call on Vishnu now." He prays. Vishnu rises, from his place out in the Ocean of Milk, and appears, flying in on Garuda, takes the Sudarshan chakra, and was it Kali Nemi that he took his head right off? And everyone just saw that, and all they said, "Okay, all right, we will fight fair." And then Vishnu just goes back,
Yeah.
So now it's speaking about that kind of thing. Go ahead.
O indefatigable one, when you are sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to enter among the soldiers of the Daityas and Danavas, you stay on the battlefield and unendingly separate their arms, bellies, thighs. Now they separated my belly.
Slicing them up.
Cut my belly button off. Legs and heads. It's always so gruesome. O protector of the universe, you are engaged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his all-powerful weapon in killing the envious enemies for the benefit of our entire dynasty. Kindly favor this poor Brahmana. This will certainly be a favor for all of us.
Just see how he takes it to an extra level. Just see how he takes it to an extra level. I was speaking last night in the Q&A, and I love to share this example that's shared by Bhakti Tirtha Swami, when he said, if people come up to me and they, encouraging me to engage in some kind of gossip about others or some kind of lower level conversation. Now you just leave that sentence half open. You'd think that the spiritual person would say, "I will not participate in that. They are really on a low level of consciousness, and I won't stoop to that level." Fair enough. But he didn't say that. Right. He took it to the next level. Do you remember what he said?
Yeah, he said, what is it in me that attracts people that want to gossip or find fault? There's something in me that would make them think that I would want to engage in that.
Yeah. So he flipped it. He didn't even... that this is the way a deeply spiritual person is focused on, like, rooting out their own shortcomings and the extent that they'll go to it. We read...
That's a good one, Kaustubha. Let's hover with that for a second. right?
That's what I want to do. I want to hover with that. That you know what? Just let me get this out, and then you can hover along with me here. But you know, when we read from this unknown source that could have been Raghunath that said your new life is going to cost you your old one. I see a lot of it has to do with that. In my old life, even I took one step up and I said, okay, I'm going to become this serious practitioner. No, you got to take it further, right? You got to really become a person that does deep internal work, that's really ready to do it. Now, what we have here is Ambarish. Not only is he saying, okay, I forgive you, I won't even mention it again. You know, he's not only doing that, but he's saying, if the Sudarshan chakra would let him off, would let him go, would kindly favor him, he's saying that would be good for our dynasty. That would be good for us. He's still not seeing himself as morally superior.
Right.
You know. You go. You hover.
That's it. Good with
No,
that.
I'm sorry.
Good. I
stole
hover.
it.
No, that's it. That's good. It's a good point. It's a great point.
And he's going to continue. He's going to go further. Not only is he going to say that it would be a favor to us, it would be good for us if you favored this Brahmana. He'll take it further in this next verse.
O protector of the universe,
No,
you are
if our
engaged
family.
by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his all-powerful weapon in killing the envious enemies. For the benefit of our entire dynasty, kindly favor this poor Brahmana. This will certainly be a favor for all of us.
Okay, text 10. Now listen to this one.
If our family has given charity to the proper persons, if we have performed ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices, if we have properly carried out our occupational duties, and if we have been guided by learned brahmanas, meaning basically saying if we've done everything right, everything good, everything pious in this world,
Everything auspicious.
I wish in exchange that this Brahman be freed from the burning caused by the Sudarshan chakra. Any good I've done, please extend it to this person.
Yeah, and it's like empty my account of merit that may bring me material well-being or spiritual, well-being. I may have worked hard to accrue it. I may have been kind and generous and this and that and all. Whatever merit's built up, I would like to give it for this person's benefit. Go ahead, empty out my account.
Empty out my merit, right? Usually we think I'm doing good. I'm trying to please dad. Dad's really happy with me. Now he's going to let me borrow the car. No. All the merit. Give it to your sister. All the merit you've done.
Right.
And the interesting thing is, who's he giving the merit to? He's
The
giving
guy
the
just trying to kill him.
merit to the guy who's trying to kill him.
Just
What?
a minute ago.
That makes no material sense.
He's taking it to another level. He had to give up his old life. Well, I don't know if he did, but in order for us to be like this, we would have to give up our old life of rationalization, of justification.
It makes no material sense, this path. If you're trying to get material sense out of what we're doing every morning at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., this whole Bhagavatam, it's not going to make any sense whatsoever. It's going to ask us to be what we actually are, what we authentically are, which is a spirit soul. We're divine beings that have forgotten, and we're waking up.
It's kind of like we're not interested in justice for ourselves. We know that we require mercy, and therefore we want to become accustomed to offering. I think it was Jesus. Was it Jesus that said, "Blessed are those who are, show mercy. Mercy will be shown to
I think
them."
once it says, "Blessed are those," it was Jesus. I think it's safe to say anyone who starts their conversation with
Was it Jesus?
that.
I mean, I didn't know. Maybe it was from the Old Testament or something like that.
Blessed are
I-
those.
Blessed
who
are the peacemakers, for they will know peace. No, it's definitely Jesus. It's definitely Jesus.
Yeah, I think it is. Or the Easter Bunny.
I just
maybe.
had a flashback. What's that?
Or it was the Easter Bunny.
It could have been the Eastern
Blessed
Bunny, but I
are
think it was
those who
Jesus.
color their eggs, for they will
They'll
be
be blessed
filled
with jelly
joy.
beans.
It's so amazing how we got an Easter Bunny.
It's coming up, Rogo. It's coming up.
Oh yeah, when is Easter?
But you won't have any.
It's not for like
you
a
can throw
month
out-
still.
Yeah.
I went to the
What's
store
that?
yesterday. I think it's like still over a month away. I went to the store yesterday.
No,
and
it
was
should be at
filled
the
with
beginning of
Easter stuff.
April.
No,
I
it's
think
not
it's
the
like
beginning of
third weekend, April 20th.
Really? So
Well,
late?
we're back for that.
I think it's the day after we get back.
You know,
I
my
thought it
kids
was
run
always
around.
early in April.
You know,
it
it's
changes.
yeah, it changes. It's sort of like John Moss to me. It changes every year. For some
Does it
reason,
really?
pick
How do they
two-
determine it?
It's
How do you determine-
Mardi Gras.
Look it up.
Lent,
Look it up, Mara. How do they determine?
It's
look
40
You know
days
what?
that up,
after.
Mara.
I think it's
Good
something
Friday.
to do with the. I think it's something to do with the spring equinox.
moon?
Google that.
About 40 days from Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, but how do they get Ash Wednesday?
But how do they get
Grahi?
Ash Wednesday? That doesn't
Don't
help.
try to don't screw with me, Baba Grahi. It's on the 20th. We're going to be in time. Back just in time for Easter.
It's the Sunday. Easter is determined as the Sunday following the first full moon that happens on or after the March equinox.
So it's lunar. You
It
see,
is
it's
lunar.
They
You know
flip
why?
it.
Because it had something to do with spring and
With?
fertility and rabbits and
Jelly,
and pagan ritual.
eggs.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Fertility, eggs, and chocolate, and marshmallow rabbits and marshmallow chickens.
Chicks.
Chicks.
What are those called?
Peeps.
Peeps. Peeps, actually. Yeah, they're called peeps.
If they weren't so demonic, because they're made with gelatin, they're made with the hooves. I don't even know who could dream that up. What about if we boil the hooves? What will happen? You get a gelatinous substance, and then we were going to make little chickens, and we're going to feed them to children.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
let's
wait
keep
a
reading
second
this.
here. Wait a second here. What's going on in Australia? Achuta's from Australia. Achuta says in
No.
Australia we have the Easter
I think
bilby.
he lives in the UK, but he might be Australian.
Okay, in Australia we have the Easter bilby because rabbits are an invasive species. What
I
the
don't even
hell
know what a bilby is.
I don't even know what a
Is it
bilby
a
is.
kangaroo
Google
or
that one up.
something?
Is it one of those
What-
gigantic rat things? Oh my God, it is.
yeah.
Sort of. Oh, there's a chocolate bilby. Oh my God, I don't want to eat a chocolate rat.
It looks sort of like a rat with big ears.
It's like a sort of a rat bit.
Hold it up. Hold
Not
it
a
up
rat
to the camera.
rabbit. It's like a rat bit.
Oh, bilbies are native Australian marsupials that are endangered.
Oh my God, they're marsupials. That means they carry their baby in their tummy, in their pouch. Is that what a marsupial is, right? Or it means that they're like
Maybe.
platypuses that have flipper feet.
No,
A
I think they
marsupial is
have
like a possum.
pouch.
No, wait, doesn't it marsupial mean they carry their babies in their tum-tum?
It may. It may.
Oh God, I'd eat whatever, how cute it is. I still wouldn't eat a chocolate version of that. Forget it. I'll eat a chocolate
You would,
rabbit. That's
Raghunath.
not a big
You
deal.
would. In a pinch, you would eat that chocolate rabbit so quick. The chocolate.
It depends
thing,
if you
whatever.
slap a little peanut butter on its head. You're like, Raghunath, that's a real Kilby. Or what is it called?
Bilby.
Bilby. All right. Can we?
I think
Don't
we're
make
done
me
for
get my
today,
chocolate
Raghunath.
squirrel right
I think we just squirreled right out of this
It's
show.
too-
Okay,
Too far gone.
it's too late to bring it back now. We're
I'm going
gone.
to blame Achuta for
Yeah.
this one.
All right, you guys ready for some
Mara.
takeaways?
I'm ready.
There's a trade-in cost for your rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trade in.
gotta pay
It's
something. Can't keep them
Let's
both.
work with that analogy. There's a trade in.
All right.
What are you getting for your trade in? You get something better. You trade it in for a
life.
newer model.
There you go.
There you go. You trade it in for the updated this year's model, the 2026. Okay.
Relinquish your old habits to upgrade.
Maybe I need a bilby. I got a feeling dogs chase bilbies in Australia.
Seems like they would. There's a new self to step into.
There's a new rodent in
Raghunath,
town.
your cats would be leaving you dead bilbies like on your
Yeah.
porch. It would get pretty.
Oh my!
It would get
These
creepy.
true.
cats.
I've seen what they do.
My cats are wonderful, but I realize they kill everything. They're
They
actually,
hate each other.
and they hate each other. They're siblings that can't stand each other. But they just like they
And
don't
they're a bit
snuggle with
promiscuous
each
as well.
other. They snuggle with they
They
snuggle.
snuggle with everyone.
It's like with humans, they convince you that they're completely
They don't just
loving.
snuggle. They
No,
don't
they
just
put their
snuggle.
little paws around you and
They
lick
try to
your
make out
face.
with you.
They try to make. Kaustubha had a
Yes.
romantic affair with one of the cats.
Well, it tried, Raghunath. It tried. I
You're
wouldn't
like,
let it.
I'm a Brahmin. Like, I'm not interested in your religious codes. Come
I
here.
said I'm married.
Come here.
Back off, cat.
The
All
cats
right.
are very persistent. To be
They
fixed
are.
in truth, to be fixed in truth requires a deeper tolerance and humility.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Bilbies are endangered partly due to a fox
Raghunath.
invasion. I'm not doing it. It's the message board.
You see, that's what that's his 4-year-old thing. Oh, it's not me.
It's the
not my
message board.
Yeah. Okay.
Give up,
Please
give
continue.
up hope that material goals will satisfy us.
That's a big one,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That's a big
yeah.
one.
That was profound when you brought
You-
that up, Raghunath.
Well, you know what it is? It's they're dead ends. And sometimes you ever pull into a road, it's like a dead end, and it's like a half a block, and you're like, oh, we can't go anymore. But sometimes you travel along these winding, sometimes beautiful roads, and then it just goes nowhere. And you're like, it's just like there's somebody's house, and it's like what's that called when there's one house?
Cul-de-sac.
Like a cul-de-sac, and you
Cul-de-sac.
just can't get out, and you're like, wow, I've been traveling on this for a long time. And in the material world, sometimes we go down these paths
Hold
of
it, Raghunath.
career.
You've traveled around a cul-de-sac for a long time.
No,
You were like-
long dead ends. Hear me out. It's a very good point I'm making here.
All right.
Sometimes we travel down these very, very long roads of career, of education, of even yoga, of adventure, of romance, and we end up in a
yeah.
cul-de-sac, and we're
I
just like,
send you
oh,
right back.
it's a dead. Yeah, it's just like there's nowhere else to go here. There's a limit. Sometimes it's a short dead end. You're like, you know what? This is baloney. I'm not going to do this. And sometimes it's a very long, sometimes attractive dead end, but it's still a dead end. It's not going to give us what we want. Continue on.
We can't cross the river with our feet in 2 different canoes.
Mm-mm.
Love of God has nothing to do with your material situation.
Okay. Did we talk about that?
No. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
did.
true.
Remember?
Okay.
What is it in me that attracts people to gossip and fault find?
Yeah. What is it?
What's
in
my
you?
problem?
What is it in
What
you?
is my problem?
Raghu.
Please empty my merit account for the sage who tried to curse me. A-
My merit badges.
And
And
you can't cut God out of the chunk.
no,
Yeah.
it's God that blows up the chunk. Let's get this straight, okay?
Did you used to like those candy bars, chunky?
I had them. It wasn't my favorite. It seemed
What's
like
my favorite?
it's too small.
It's too small. Even though it was thick, it was small. And you can't,
Yeah.
you know, and I'd rather have thin and long. And then they throw in like an added
It
bonus,
seems
we're going
like
to
it's
throw
more.
some raisins in there. Children don't like raisins. Are you crazy? Nobody likes raisins when you're 11 years old. Anyway, that was a Bilby.
That was Bilby.
That was a Bilby. I just did a Bilby on you.